What's up, guys? It's Sad Zilla, and today's episode of the ZILLACAST podcast, I have a very special guest with me. Is another nerdcore artist by the name of Chris Craig. Now, is it just Chris Craig, or are you I am Chris Craig? Because that is your tag everywhere. That's where we can find you online, right?
Oh yes, most definitely. It's you kind of say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest or like a pimp name Slipback. It's like I am Chris Craig.
Oh, okay. So it is all together. That is your
Yeah,
artist name.
yes sir, yes sir. But if
Oh,
anything, no, it's good to be here though. Like
yeah.
I'm really a huge fan of you and your work, most definitely.
Thank you so much, and I am a fan of yours. What I have heard from you over the few years that I've known about you, you were actually one of the first people in nerdcore before I even got into the scene that I was introduced to. I don't know if somebody introduced me to you. Like, I think maybe another artist had told me, like, oh, if you want to get into nerdcore or something like that, or you want to work with somebody in nerdcore, hit up Chris Craig. Chris Craig is one of those guys that you should hit up. And yeah, you were one of the ones that I hit up. I think I'm the one who hit you up, right?
Yeah, most definitely. But still, I mean, I think I also saw like your music too because I remember like you had like the trap metal vibe going, and I
Yeah,
was really into that wave. Like I was listening to like different artists such as like Scarlord and I
right.
think Bro Cyber. It was spelled like Sybr. Like he was a trap metal artist that I really grew fond of. And then I saw Sadzilla. I'm like, yo, I got to check out Bro.
That's actually a
So
good. That's actually a good, pretty good topic to start off with. What do you think about like all of these genre hybrids, like something like a trap metal? What was your first introduction to trap metal, and like what if you got into it, like Scarlord, for example? What was it about it that got you into that genre of music?
the genre of music like that. I mean, at first it became like I was a really big fan of XXX Tentacion and that distorted wave of music that he
Right,
created, and like listening to how I mean, it was distorted, but at the same time, it blended so well together, like with the mixing style that it had. And then there was a YouTube reactor that goes by the name of XX Young Lord XX. I think he still has that reaction up. I don't know if they
oh,
took it, but it was of Scar Lord in his song, like the song that blew him up. I think it was called like Heart
right, Heart
Attack.
Attack. Yep.
Yeah. That when I heard that, I'm like, yo, like they just made a whole new wave. Like I became like immediately interested. Like I just had to like check that out, and then like just later on down the line, I became a fan of City Morgue and this, that,
Right,
and the third. It was real.
Zilla things like that.
Yeah, yeah, like
uh
that whole little wave. Like yeah, that's how I was brought into it.
You
Like
know,
shout out Lord X.
it's funny because like trap metal, what I think that most people who are normally just into rap, let's say you just have a history of being into that at least like sub or genre or subgenre, um just like normal, like when it's about the bars, when it's about like the game of rapping, right? And then you see something like what he's doing. I mean, like honestly, like you listen to the Scarlord's Heart Attack, do you have any idea what he's saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it
Yeah,
and it's one of those things like where it's like it's not even about the lyricism as much as it is about the performance and energy. The dude just had insane psychopathic energy when he was performing, and it was just like unlike anything that you would normally see from like a rap artist, but he's clearly rapping, just doing it in such a high energy level. Am I picking up on that correctly? Like as far as like
yeah,
what was
he was
attracting you
just
to it?
breaking boundaries, like the artistry behind it, like because I love rock music too. Like I love Foo Fighters, Avenged Sevenfold, like all these different metal artists, and like I love the fact that these different bands and like how it can be so immersed. Like it's it's breaking boundaries. It's beautiful to me, and it's like I mean, even before like the whole nerdcore thing, I was just a fan of music and creating music in general because
Yeah.
it's like art form behind it is it's amazing to me, like how people can just put their all like vocal fries, everything like that whole little concept behind it. I want to learn how to do like everything like that.
Right. It's just like mixing all these. And that's what's awesome about music, especially like since it's become such a broad thing that everybody can have access to, the programs and plugins or whatever, and like cheap. Even if you just have like Gosh, I mean, you can make music off of your phone now. You know what I'm saying? So
Man,
everybody has access to make music, and so because you have so many different people with so many different styles and inspirations, they come together and they try to mix all these things into their own sound. How what was your story first getting into nerdcore, and then when you got into nerdcore, how did you mix like what was inspiring to you as far as like musically, like the things that you liked musically, and how did you combine those things to find your own sound, or maybe you're even still finding that sound that you're looking for? How has that all come about?
alrighty. Well, I gotta shout out a couple of people first. Shout out Tokume and shout out Jay Zen,
Okay.
because these were the people that introduced me to Game Boy Jones and Dizzy 8,
Mm.
especially during that time when I was, just like before I just got introduced to like these different people of the underground wave. Because Tokume, he was a nerdcore artist before he went off and started, doing his independent rap thing.
Mm.
And like I was introduced into nerdcore through Tokume because he worked with Zach Boucher on his Super Smash Brothers cipher. He
Okay.
was the role of Greninja. I forgot which. I think it was like part 3 where Tokume was introduced into that series.
Mm.
But furthermore, I guess I was just making music like here in my little old city of Texarkana. I was just making music, this, that, and the third, and I already had like just ties to like different people on the internet already.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like started like working around with different artists, and honestly, I think it was around the time when Dizzy Eight. I joined Dizzy Eight server because I was already a fan of Dizzy Eight.
Right.
It was me, Jay, and Tokume. Like we were all in like one call, and it was like late at night. And then I think like Game Boy was in there, and Dizzy Eight was in there. I remember it was like some sort of rap battle. And then like everybody was just like plugging music at some point in time,
Yeah.
and I was muted because me, like just being like a fan of different creators, you will be shy at first to like introduce yourself and like try to talk. Like that was me. I was really like shy and like low down about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jay and everybody else just started chopping it up with everybody. And
Mm.
then Jay and Tokume was like, "Yo, y'all need to check out Chris because Chris is actually nice." I was muted and I was like, I'm just saying to myself like, "Bro, what is y'all doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I unmuted and I was like, hi, like trying to
Mm-hmm.
introduce this, that, and the third. And then I just showed them like this one thing. I think this is like the oldest song on my SoundCloud. I think it's still up there. Y'all can like scroll all the way down to the bottom of my SoundCloud page.
Uh-huh.
It's like freestyle. It was produced by Nighttime. Nighttime produced like some of City Morgue songs and this, that, and the third.
Okay.
So it's like I played that for them. They really enjoyed the beat, and then they was like, "Oh no, this is hard," and this, that, and the third. And then like when push came to shove, like people hit me up, and then I worked with Nim Raps. Well, later on, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm like skipping ahead or anything like
Oh,
that.
you're fine.
And please forgive me for rambling as well.
No, no, you're great. No, this is awesome. Keep on going.
Okay, but like after I got done uh, fangirling in the chat, like on
Yeah.
it's later on down the line, I was like, I made this Twitter post. It was like, I want to work with Dizzy 8, Nim Raps, Game Boy Jones.
Yeah.
And then it, literally one after the other, boom, I got hit up like for Game
Wow.
Haminari song. Like, oh, okay, cool. Boom, Dizzy 8 hit me up to do this Demon Slayer thing. And like people went crazy for that one.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I did this Spider-Man Miles Morales thing with Nim Raps, and I'm like, bro, like this is like I shout out Nerdcore, like shout out the whole Nerdcore community and the love that I receive from every like artist and every like person who supported. It's like this is one of the greatest communities that I've been a part of.
That's awesome. And I think that's really cool. Like the idea that you just joined like a Discord, and through that, you kind of, got in some voice chats, and they were doing, this kind of like back and forth community. Either you're like just like a listener, a fan, right? Or you are another artist, or you want to be an artist, or whatever, and you're like not even there because you're an artist. Well, I mean, not because like you're there to promote your music. You're just there as a fan, and then you get the opportunity to kind of show your stuff and everything, and that's when it started to become real. Like, oh, maybe I should take this a little bit more seriously and
Exactly.
start really going after it, huh?
I'm saying no. I mean like exactly like it's exactly like that. Cause like in school, I was already a fan of like different artists such as like Dizzy, and then I mean and Diggs the Prophecy, because he was
Mm-hmm.
also a person
Yep.
that was like introduced into it.
Shout out Diggs. Diggs is awesome.
Diggs, Shara, like all the people of that, as they call it, the old nerdcore era.
Uh huh.
Like a lot of these different like people who are rapping on Kenshi Music, Natsu Fuji Beats. Shout out Natsu, that's my dog by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, no, like all these different artists that kind of just gave me like a reason to just hey, let's put the pen to the pad and like, hey, let's try some stuff out.
Yeah. How do you
That's
think that, from like where you started out, from the story that you just told, like this is kind of like a different era. When was this, you think? Like was this about 3 years ago? 2 years ago? 4 years
man,
ago? When was this?
I'm not even gonna lie. Like I've been listening since high school in like 2016.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Like
they've been on.
when you did these collaborations, or even before then, when you started showing them your music and started really getting into the community and start
Okay.
taking it seriously, how long has that been?
Oh, okay. So like I think there's I would say 2017, 2018.
2018. So I mean, and like a lot of these guys, like you used to bring up, Dizzy 8 and Game Boy Jones in 2018, like they wouldn't be the biggest, definitely not as big as they are now. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely their big rise was in 2020, right?
Yeah.
So you were there ahead of the curb, um, and you actually, you were there kind of in the, I wouldn't say the beginnings of that era. I guess you could probably say that. Yeah, I mean, because they are kind of like this new era's version of like nerdcore. I grew up with like the MC Chris's and the Frontal Lots and the Larses and things like that,
Yeah.
like the old school nerdcore stuff. So
OG,
yeah, I
like
wasn't
really.
even. How? What's up?
No, I'm saying like no, I was showing support. I was like, yeah, like the OGs, like like
Exactly.
or
Y-
nerd.
Yeah, and I would even put like Mega Ran in that category. He kind of comes from that same cloth. He's cut from that same cloth, and it's just like that old school kind of like, I don't know, just like very retro game centric, and like I mean, MC Front a lot was rapping about like math equations and stuff like that. It was just a totally different kind of nerd, and then it started turning into like anime rap, and I kind of always separated the two, and that's when like what you're talking about like really started picking up traction on like YouTube and everything like that. But what I want to question you on, that sounds like I'm interrogating you. The question I want to ask you is, in your opinion, like what has changed, and what has not changed since 2017, 18, or whatever, to where we are today in nerdcore? What is the big change?
That is a good one, big bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. I mean, all right, let me see. To be real, like a lot of the ways that we network, it grew. Like
Mm,
the way that we network and the way that we um portray and how like the visuals and like how like the way that we market it has changed like drastically, especially behind like reactions and like all these different. It's like I'm seeing NPC. Shout out NPC, by the way. I'm going to
yep.
Dallas. Y'all might see me there.
I might see you there as well.
Oh, most definitely. It'll be an
Yeah.
honor. You got a link. With NPC, like just the way that everything is marketed and how like it's becoming more and more prevalent to see like the nerd community and the way that we make hip hop, the hip hop lovers, the nerd community, and how everything else just like comes together like that. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's a big boost to the community and a big boost to how we like operate around like these certain things. I felt like that was a major change. and it's there's another. I mean, well, what hasn't changed? I feel like it's the support. Most definitely,
Yeah.
like it's always been there. Like with how we like just uplift each other as a community, and like how we all just like band together, and like it's the ethic, like the work ethic behind a lot of these artists that I see, like new and old.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, it's like we always had that fire, and it's always been kind of competitive. Like especially like being in different servers and meeting with different people, and it's always that competitive flair and that competitive fire that you just like love to see like within every artist and within every group. Shout out Luke.
When you say like it changed like with the kind of like the marketing side and the like getting your stuff out there, I'm assuming that's what you meant, right? Like that's
Yeah,
kind of what's
most
just
definitely.
changed. Is like people started figuring out like, oh, like we can actually get our stuff out there. We're actually getting numbers. We're actually getting like a lot of attention. And so like you're learning from people like Dizzy 8, people like Game Boy Jones, Fable, Rustage, etc. And you're like, oh, this is the way. This is like the wave. This is how we should do it. Like, follow this kind of like formula. Is that what you mean?
I mean, yeah, like picking up on like a lot of different artists and like the way that they kind of like stylistically show, you
Mm,
know, like with whether if it's like the video editing, the mixing or mastering, it's all like within the production. Most
yeah.
definitely. What I feel like, most definitely.
Because back then it was a little bit more raw. I'm assuming, right? Like because a lot of these guys, like your Daddy Fat Snaps, your Fables, etc., or whatever, who like really lock into the production side and the mixing and mastering and all that kind of stuff or whatever, kind of brings everybody else to like, oh, it's like this is like the new standard. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, no, I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
like we all gotta level up. Like, then that's like mad respect to both Fable. Like there's mad respect to Fable, DPS, Dizzy 8. Like a lot of these pioneers, especially that's running the game now. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Okay, I consider you one of those as well
I
because it's like
appreciate it.
the way that you actually like got the game and how you're actually like producing and how you're actually like just like how you're making your art. I guess that's just by me. I don't know how everybody else would think, but by me, it's like I look up to everybody because how they're so immersed in how they produce their art,
Mm.
and it's it's beautiful to me, and it's
Yeah.
inspiring,
And
definitely.
everybody has like their own kind of way, of doing it.
I
You
mean,
know.
me, yeah, I probably could do way better, but it's like me, I'm just in the music part of it. Like I'm still stuck in that SoundCloud that I'm still stuck in that SoundCloud XXX Trippy Red. I'm still stuck in like that little era.
Why do you feel like that? Are you saying that you're only dropping music on SoundCloud, or like like, or is it you mean like
Like
the quality of the
I,
music?
I was meaning like stylistically. Like I mean
Uh.
I drop on like all platforms and whatnot, but it's like I was talking about like just the way that everything's being created.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's immersed and it's different.
Yeah.
That's yeah, I feel like it's very different and it's like immersed and there's like various styles to like pick from like how shout out Slick. Slick has like the drill wave, the rock star, you know what I'm saying?
Uh
Well,
huh.
to those who know Slick, like from Otaku Underworld, like him, Dav D, like different artists like Suyo, like
Uh
it's
huh.
just so artists that like just show different and immersed styles that I
Are
just
you
really
are you
want
in
to see.
Otaku Underworld?
Oh no, I'm in Loop.
You're in
Shout
what?
out
What is it?
Blackwell, like all these different people, like
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's different people. Like we're more the bar heavy side. Like we love to rap. My group love to rap over there.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One thing that I wanted to ask you is, there was one thing in Nerdcore. I think you had mentioned another artist of yours, another friend of yours that had gotten you into Nerdcore. I think you had said, or he was a part of that Discord server, and he kind of started breaking out of Nerdcore. He went a different direction and started doing different things.
Okay.
Do you aspire to do something similar? And what do you think of other artists who maybe that is like their end goal and like that's like what they're going for. And how do you look at that, and how do is it, logical? Is it you know um I wouldn't say not moral or whatever. Is it like cool? Is it not cool? What how do you see that?
I mean, I have respect for like all those who take that route most definitely. Like I said, it's like with me, like I always been that person to just always want to broaden my horizon and I can see.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like with everything I'm still gonna like just rap the same and you know do the same thing like the pop references, the anime references, like the nerd references. That's always gonna be in my music because that's me. I'm just a kid, like
Yeah.
art.
Yeah.
But with everything else though, like I can see myself at some point in time, like taking a different route. But it's like for right now, it's like I guess I'm just more in the moment
Yeah.
at that. So it's like, if anything,
I think
hey,
that I think the issue with it is, or what's hard to really like make a comment about it is because nobody has like broken out to a degree to where it's like, oh, like they have like a huge hit, right? And then it's just like, oh, it's like outside of the nerdcore space or whatever, and then they kind of move outside of it, even though like it was that. Or no, let's say they make it big off of like a nerdcore song, right? And then they
right,
use that fame to kind of go out of it, right? And
right,
so I think when it gets to that point, just in if we're dealing with hypotheticals here, how the community would react to somebody who did that, who used the nerdcore culture and the community or whatever to bring themselves up to such a level that they could break out and go do something else. You know what I'm saying? Which
right.
in a lot of ways is actually a really good thing and it should be kind of celebrated, right? But like how the community would see that artist and see you know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah,
would it would be
understand.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I most definitely. I felt that.
Yeah, and so I just think it's like I think it's an interesting hypothetical to play around with because I do see a lot of people like even today now they'll make comments, they'll be like, oh, this person's only doing the nerdcore thing or whatever to get numbers now, and because it's like some kind of like cheat code or something, which it's really not.
Yeah,
um but then they have plans to get out of it, so they're just using it for right now because it's the only way they can get numbers now. And then so since that narrative's already there, even at such a low level, you know what I'm saying? Like we're not
okay.
even talking about people that have made it. If a
Yeah,
person actually did make it, I think it would be even heightened even more.
yeah. I mean, I think there was already a person. Like speaking of which, as you actually described that,
Mm-hmm.
there used to be a person in this community. His name was like Contrast, right?
Oh
Like
yeah,
it was, yeah.
right. I
Like,
didn't even
that
think
was like
about that.
the biggest example. Like as you explained it, that was like the
Mm-hmm.
biggest example that like came to mind. Like bro was a part of the nerdcore community at first, and then he found his wave, and then boom, you feel me? So it's
That's
like,
actually really good. That's a really good example. Actually, I didn't even think about contrast because I had I didn't know. Listen, a lot of this stuff I have just been introduced to in the last year and a half. Because like I said, I grew up with the old school nerdcore stuff, so the anime stuff wasn't really as privy to.
right,
And then I came across Contrast by happenstance. I can't remember what it was. I think I was looking at like some artist like Stem or something like that, and then maybe they were. I think it was like they were in there related or somebody's related. And I was like, "Who's this guy?" And I realized I was like, "Wow, this guy has a huge audience." And I saw that there was a few songs that were nerdcore, but it was like this guy had obviously branched out into different things. And I
yeah.
think I even saw like a music video of his, and it was totally different. And so that's actually a really good example because I didn't even think about him. So was he like when you were first starting out? Was he like kind of like at that Game Boy Jones Dizzy 8 level or Russage level? Where was he?
I mean, I honestly thought he was like fairly new coming into the
Mm-hmm.
community. Everybody was like, on the Schwabity, Connor Quest, Rustage type,
Right.
all listening to like their artistry and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
and artists like Contrast, like how I got introduced to Contrast, I think I was hearing about him for like a minute. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like I just heard his little eight gates hit. The song is called like Eight Gates Flow. I think it was about like Rock Lee from Naruto.
Right.
Like, that's like where I heard him from, and then like I heard he was fairly. That's the only thing I truly know. But
Mm.
I think he's pretty cool. I think he's a cool dude.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, well, I mean, it's just that's a really good example of that. I've never really even thought about it, but yeah, no, that's a good example. I'm guessing he just kind of like blew up on TikTok or something like that. I'm
Yeah,
assuming, right?
like from the New York drill scene and whatnot, because like
Yeah.
I know what like was blowing up. So it's like,
Oh, okay. There's people like that even in like my old scene or like even the scene that I was really a part of before, like in the very beginning. I was kind of in that emo trap kind of scene, and then there was like people who kind of came up from there and they started going into like the trap metal realm. Like I'm talking like Corpse and stuff like that. For
oh
example,
fuck,
like Savage Gasp was like kind of like a mid-level artist in the emo trap game, right? And then like he did that song. I think he was that song from Corpse, the E-Girls Are Ruining My Life.
yeah,
And that blew him up, and then that's just like where he went from there. And now, I mean, sometimes he sings on some songs or whatever, but like totally different realm now. And it's just like he totally changed like his entire sound, because I mean, like he found like what was gonna pop him off. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I guess there's like going to be somebody like that, or in every single type of community and everything. I think it's really interesting looking at where nerdcore is today and like what things that people are doing. Like one thing that's interesting me right now is like what Divided Music is doing.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Divide.
yeah, he's doing some crazy stuff with that concept album that he's doing. Have you seen that?
I mean, I've been hearing about it most definitely. I'm really looking forward to hearing that because like I was kind of a fan of Divide like for a little minute.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to figure out like, hey, what would like concept album by him would be like? Because like
Mm-hmm.
I know his melodic game is crazy. I would
Oh
love
yeah.
to see it as him. Like bro is like fire. Like I gotta at least like check out that concept album. Man.
It's
Yeah,
well, and the reason I bring it up is because like the idea of a concept album, from like a nerdcore artist, right? I think is really interesting. It's something that I was actually thinking about before I saw this. I was like, at the end of the day, a lot of us, well, I mean, there's like, you can be a nerdcore artist and you can like write raps about like a character or whatever. You can throw a bunch of references in there, you know, like Rock Lee, I'm opening my eight gates, like Goku, I'm gonna do a Kamehameha, like that. They always do that, right? You can do
yeah,
that, sure, but um, what I like is getting introspective with some of these characters in these shows and everything like that, and really getting to like the mindset of those characters. And there's a lot of people that can do that really effectively, and it makes me think like I'm like at the end of the day we're storytellers.
definitely.
And the reason that we're doing this is because we enjoy storytelling, not even just, telling stories, but consuming the art of storytelling.
No,
And the idea of like taking these characters and these shows and these concepts and creating your own stories with them, kind of like if you can make an album, for example, and I'm just dealing in theories and hypotheticals here. Let's say you take an album about Dragon Ball Z or
right.
whatever, these characters from Dragon Ball Z. Let's say you take them and like a Xenoverse universe, you take these characters and you start telling your own stories with them, right? And you can even make up characters, whatever the case may be or whatever. If you are good enough of a storyteller, you can tell that story. You can have somebody animate it. You can have somebody so many different things that you can do. You can tell that story through voice, like an audiobook. You can write a book about it or whatever, a comic book. There's so many different ways that you can like tell stories in nerdcore without just just doing a song about whatever is popular at that time in pop
Exactly.
culture. You know.
What I'm talking. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, bro. Great minds think alike, OG. I'm telling
You
you,
have something that you've been thinking about.
bro. Like I've been thinking about stuff like that for a minute. Like I like the introspective pieces of art. I like the stuff that tells a story, but it's not just oh Sakamoto days or oh this, oh that. I mean,
Right.
of course, that's what's popping, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I like it if people can like truly like take the elements of what they are inspired by and
Mm-hmm.
apply it themselves and put out like a whole new work for people to truly enjoy.
Right. Yeah. See, I started really diving into that when I started doing Sun Broku. I started really getting into my lyric game and really trying to, because I'm with rock and metal music. For me, it's so much easier for me to tap into that like emotional side because I
Yeah,
very have a very like aggressive performance. I can't. It's harder for me to do with rap because it relies on heavy lyricism to really like convey the message like in your head, when rap or when rock and metal I can just kind of like express it through the performance more, right?
right.
And like I can sound like I'm emotional about what I'm singing about versus like rapping, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm too focused on the rapping part because I'm not as good. But like, I think that when I started doing Sunbroku, like I had this one song, for example, where I did. It was in the perspective of Goku and Vegeta, and the whole idea was not necessarily like going into like a totally different, storytelling a totally different story, but like introspectively, how do they feel about how they are maybe a detriment to the earth and the planet and their families or whatever, like are they actually a part of the problem, because at the end of the day, like
That's deep.
they
I like
they
that. That's
they are like the reason that all these people are always coming to destroy the planet is because the strongest people are there, you know what I'm saying? Like if
that.
they keep on getting stronger, like they're always going to have like stronger opponents, and it's actually always going to keep them in danger or whatever. And so the idea about it was it's called Final Kamehameha, and it's about like them kind of like not necessarily like suicidal, but like maybe it's better we stay dead. Like if we have to like end it all, we'll end it together and we will just stay gone. Like we're not coming back because
Mm,
it's better if we're not here. You know what I'm saying?
mm, that's
And
deep, but that's
but,
beautiful.
but that's what I'm saying. Like you don't even have to necessarily tell a new story. It's the same story, right? But it's just like how like if you're for example like Boo, the story of like fighting Boo, I mean Vegeta sacrifices himself
Yeah,
and Goku's like very close to doing the same thing. If this spirit bomb doesn't work, I mean, he's gonna have to do the same thing pretty much to save people. I
right.
mean, he's gonna have to sacrifice himself in the same way that he kind of did with like even like Cell, right? They always have
Yeah,
different elements of like when they've sacrificed themselves and gotten themselves killed to save other people, and so it's just like taking those two ideas and just telling a story with it without really getting into the details of the nitty gritty of like what the story actually is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
most definitely.
so, but I'm saying take that a step further. Take that a step further, and let's say you're writing a story about Goku and Vegeta. What if the whole story of like Goku Black extended to Vegeta or something? You know what I'm saying? It's like another person or thing or whatever is taking over Vegeta's body too. Now you have to face off against both of those people or whatever. Maybe
Yeah,
you're
like
telling a story in a song where Vegeta kills Bulma. You know what I'm saying? Like accidentally or something. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
take it
what?
whole
This
nother-
never happened.
yeah,
But you're telling the story, right?
yeah. No, I understand. Like just take it the whole 9 yards and like just test your creativity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Who
saying? That yeah.
who was it that it was? I just forgive me if I say his name wrong. Errol Allen.
Like I think it was is I don't know how to pronounce his name either. I think
Errol Allen. You know what I'm talking about.
uh,
Him, Dizzy, and who else was it? Was it Mari? I think. They were all on a track together. Did you see this? It was like it was a 3 beat, like it was like a movie. They were doing a movie. It was like 3 beats and 3 different songs put into one video,
mm,
and they told a story. It was about Jujutsu Kaisen. I honestly, like, if I delved into the lyrics and everything, I was just kind of enjoying it for what it was for my first experience or whatever. But like, it's telling a cohesive story between these 3 songs, and is made by 3 different people. And the visuals and everything, I was so inspired watching that. And I let them know, I was just like, guys, you guys are on to something that I don't even think you're even aware of, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like next level shit, because what you're doing is you're taking it's kind of like a cipher in a way. You
yeah,
would take multiple people and you put them on like different beats and everything like that, but it's like expanded, and it really gets into the real meat of the story and like whatever you're trying to convey. And at that point, I mean, you can like tell that story through like these 3 songs. You can drop it as a 3-track EP. You know what I'm saying? You can
no,
pair it. You can pair it with a story where you get a professional voice actor to voice act it, like to
yeah, no,
read it.
that is gas. Nah,
You know
that's a
what I'm
good idea.
saying?
That is
I,
a fire.
there's so many things that we can do that are creative in this space and this scene that we haven't even thought of yet. You know what I'm saying? And like, I feel like there's so much potential to get into some like really cool things. And that's one reason why that Divide Music thing really kind of surprised me and inspired me to start thinking about this stuff. Right now, obviously I can't get too far into that right now, but the idea is definitely there. Actually, before I ask you this next question, I'll let you know about this. I actually thought about doing an audiobook, kind of like an intro to my compilations that I release at the
Oh,
end of the months. That kind of tells like a story about Zilla, and like
okay.
it's like, and
Yeah,
I even have like rough drafts of like the actual recording of like me doing it. And I just realized, I was like, this is gonna be way too much work. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, it
I
was
felt that.
it was ridiculous. Like, I think if anything, if I did it, I would probably write the stories, right? Because writing the stories is one thing. It's really just like putting it together in a production. You know what I'm saying? If I can take it and then give it to somebody to produce the actual voiceover, some like a professional voice actor that can make it sound good. You know what I'm saying? And then that could probably work. But like doing it all, with everything else I got going on, it's just like it's totally different. But I mean, the concept is there. I think it's really interesting.
Honestly, yeah, I cannot wait to hear that. To be honest, because like, hey, that's a creative thing. You always love to see other artists and other peers, like other friends of yours, just keep their creative wheels turning. Definitely.
And how are you keeping your creative wheels turning? What are you doing right now? What does music look like for you?
Honestly, I'm just cranking out a lot of singles. As a matter of fact, I was inspired by you because I remember that you said you were doing a whole thing like throughout February, like a whole month of creating music. And I thought of that and I was like, man, I got to give that a shot because it's like, it always keeps the pen working. It always keeps you on your toes and it keeps you refreshed. That's how I truly felt about it.
Right. Are
So it's
you
like,
so what is your actual plan then?
honestly, I feel like creating like song a day, but it's like
Mhm.
with the habits of promoting that, like that's more stuff I'm gonna have to map out. But it's like I know like I could just like create a song like at the snap of a hand.
Yeah.
But it's how have it like marketed and like how you're actually like promoting your stuff. I need to actually study that more. I need
Mhm.
to learn how to do that better. But
Yeah.
once I actually get to that spot, That's because creating it is going to be easy, but like how you actually that's what's going to keep the creative wheels turning. Like how you actually have to get in front of your camera, how you have to like set up a scene. It's actually like creative feelings or creative freedom behind each and
Yeah.
every single goes about that. Like if you look on different TikToks, of course you'll see the usual people promoting their music, like sitting in front of their microphone or doing this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
The biggest example, like you see like so many memes and like, have you heard of this artist, Gen Oneer? Big Man Blastoise, Big
Yep.
Man Blast.
Yep.
Yeah, nah,
Yep.
bro. That's what I'm saying. You'll see memes. You'll
Or
see.
what was it? The guy who did Pose Like JoJo. He's another guy that's in Nerdcore.
Oh yeah, Apollo Fresh. Apollo Fresh
Yep.
is fine.
Yep. That's
You know
another
what I'm saying?
one. I
Different
mean,
artists.
you can find. I mean, dude, just posting content. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to just get it out there. I mean, like you never know what it will be that will pop it off. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be anything. I mean, it's just like the right person hears the track, a right person sees the video or whatever, and they make a video with it of their own, and then all of a sudden that pops off and it creates some kind of trend or whatever the case may be. And so
Exactly.
you really never know, and you'll never know unless you put your stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about like promotion is like, oh, that's like what I need to step up is like the promotion stuff or whatever. It's really not complicated. You could take your AMV and just throw it on TikTok and just have a caption on it. You know what I'm saying? You could literally post that every single day with a different caption and a different part of the song or whatever. Let's say you're releasing every single week. You know what I'm saying? Like every single day, you post 4 times a day. It's 4 different types of parts of the song, and you just have different captions on them every single time. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Oh,
That's enough.
really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm serious, dude. Like it's so easy. It really is. It's just like we overthink the process. Like I'm not saying it's easy to go viral. I'm not saying it's easy to find fans. But it's easy to post content. It's not hard. Like we think, well, like we gotta go out and like do a whole performance video, make a music video, do a skit, do a behind the scenes, do vlogs, whatever the case may be. Like we overthink everything, and
Yeah.
it gives us like analysis paralysis.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, because we have this mindset that like, oh, I can only do said thing unless I know said thing works. That's the
Dang.
only time I do it is because I
Nah,
know that it works.
genius, like no cap. He's a genius with it, bro. Cause like, man, that's you actually like hit it on the noggin, son. Like that shit is
It feels like that, doesn't it? Does it not feel like that?
so, like fair, like, cause niggas been stuck. I ain't even gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like I figure out like, what can I do? Okay, I can make it skit this way, cause like I've seen like different artists like within the community.
Uh-huh.
Boy Jones, for example, is like
Oh,
I
he
seen.
did it. I have to do it. He made it work. I have to do it the way that he did it.
You know what I'm
Because
saying? It's like,
he's proven that it works, so I have to do it that way because that way it will give me the most views or whatever because I can see it with my own 2 eyes. I can see I know what I can see,
you know what I'm
and it
saying?
makes
It's
me
like
comfortable.
I follow the recipe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they see, oh, they hear like one hot flow. Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Like for like the biggest example was like in hip hop, like because everybody wasn't rapping like with triplet flow like Migos, but when the Migos dropped,
Yep.
everybody would change up their whole flow because that's what was hot at the.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And hearing these different drill artists, everybody went to
Uh-huh.
like bro, like it's crazy now.
And,
And like they,
and what's funny, what's funny about it is that a lot of this stuff, like let's say like Young Thug or whatever, when Young Thugs
oh,
first started out, oh, it's cringe. This is lame. Mumble rap this, mumble rap that, or whatever. And then
bro,
next thing you know, 10 years down the road, Elton John is like, this is like one of the greatest songwriters of our generation.
fam, like
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. And I posted this I think in that group chat that you're in with me. It's only cringe until it works.
like for real, bro. And then like they want to ask like, yo, how did you do it?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
I
stopped
felt
giving a fuck.
like literally, it's like how you said with Young Thug, it's the same way. Like this whole, have you heard? I know everybody's probably have heard. Was Playboy Cardi, right?
Right.
Everybody ever since he dropped like Whole Lot of Red, that rage sound,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's telling you everybody's on that wave.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
artist.
Rage became. It was literally called. The song was called Rage, and everybody's like, "Oh, Rage type beat, Rage
Exactly.
type beat." Oh man, I'm on that Rage shit. I'm like, what are you guys even talking about? Like, it's like literally one song that he made, and I remember like just like 2 years before, they were like, "Why does he sound like a baby? He's cringe,"
But
And
no,
like, it's like
yeah,
now they're all up his ass, huh?
you know, it's like no, I was like, I agree with you because it's like, look, everybody was doing that whole flow too now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Listen to like all these different artists. Like now, Cardi switching up and he's doing the deep voice,
yeah,
and that's blowing up. And now everybody
of
like they want
course.
deep voice right. So it's like it's like they people just be following the wave. Like it's a lack of creative freedom.
Because they
But that
only want to do what works.
exactly. So it's like
They
that's
want a
crazy.
surefire, like, oh, this is the cheat code. This is the cheat code. If I do this, Nerdcore is like that. There's a lot of people that look at Nerdcore like that. They're like, oh, well, it's not working. Like I see this, this anime raps thing, Goku rap type beat.
Yeah,
That's what
like
I need to do.
I'm talking down to the like I'm talking about down to the way that people do their titles, their
Yeah.
descriptions. Yeah.
And
Like I
everybody is, and nobody is, well, I can't say nobody, but like very little people are trying to change the formula because they're
well,
like, oh, the formula works. But the thing is, now the formula doesn't work. It doesn't work as well. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't work as well as it used to because
right.
especially with like YouTube algorithm and things like that or whatever, it's totally different. Even like, releasing every single week. This is a thing that, is very, very, useful for a lot of people. It doesn't work the same way anymore. It's not the cheat code that they thought it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, back then it definitely worked. I mean, I've been still doing it for like the longest time. I haven't stopped since like 2021. But like the idea has kind of died off. They're like, oh no, let's go back to releasing once a month and do like a whole like campaign like where we're building up the song and then we're doing a music video and all this other stuff because that's what this guy did on TikTok or that's what this guy showed me how to do it on YouTube or whatever the case may be.
And to be
And
real,
mm-hmm.
like I heard that strategy like doesn't work. I heard that
Right. Yeah. Well, it matters on the at the end of the day, Chris. It matters on the song.
like for real, man.
Like
Like
you can do all the promotion, you can pay for all the ads that you want, and it really doesn't matter. I had recently had an artist friend. He told me he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna blow up this song. I'm gonna blow up this song of ours, and I'm gonna make a bunch of videos." And I was like, "Okay, go for it." He makes
right.
a ton of videos. I'm talking like millions of views. He gets on this song. Okay, and
Gee,
I kid you not, dude. Like after millions of views, I'm talking like upwards of 10 million views
good
from like
God.
reels and stuff like that. We saw basically like an amount of like a conversion rate of like I don't even know what the rate would necessarily be, but it was like a boost of like 100 to 200 streams a day on that song, and now it's leveled back out.
Hmm.
And it's because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many views you get. Are people going to actually go stream that song? How do they even know if they even like the song if all they hear is 5 to 10 seconds? And if those don't connect to them, they don't care. So yeah, you can get the views, you can get the shock value, you can get all of the comments and all the likes, but nobody goes and streams the song because at the end of the day, it matters if they actually like the song. I mean, if I don't have the video, for example, and the video is the reason that I listen to the song and I don't actually like the song, maybe I'm just watching the video for the meme or something, I'm not going to go
Right.
listen to the song, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, at the end of the day, it's all about the song. It's actually pretty funny because recently Fable posted on Twitter and he was like, you did like a voice thing on Twitter where you can do audio message or whatever,
Right.
and he was talking about his recent success with his new song, his solo leveling song, called I think it's called Over You, and it was getting like, dude, it got like 100,000 streams on Spotify since Saturday. This was
Fire.
like on like Monday or something like that, right?
Right.
And he was like, it's crazy, like what I find, like one thing that I told myself when I started this whole YouTube thing and the music thing is that if I can get people to listen to my music more on other streaming platforms like Spotify, more than what they're listening to it on YouTube, I'll know that they're listening to it because of the music and not because of the video. But the thing that I don't think even Fable realized, they were always there for the music.
Oh yeah, no,
They
it's
were
because
always there for the music.
yeah, like Fable puts out like good shit.
I mean, it's and that's the thing. It's like the videos. Yeah, the videos are cool, but nobody's like going back and watching the videos on repeat just because they're cool. It'll be a cool experience the first time you see it, but after that, like you're not going back like, oh man, I got to put this on my TV and watch this video edit or whatever. Most people don't care about that. They're just have your song on a playlist that they created on YouTube or whatever, and they're listening to your song over and over again through this video. That's why you have like a high audience retention, right? They're always there for the music.
I can see where you're coming from, like with that too. I'm not just gonna say it's like just because like some of the visuals do be mad fire. I'm not even gonna
Sure, sure.
like out to most of these videos, like most of these videos wouldn't have as much of the views as they have now without some of the editors, because like some of the editors be going
I
shit crazy.
I'm not saying I'm not sure this is not my way of like putting down the editors. I'm not saying that the edits are useless. I'm saying that the edits can be interesting and like what you're going to see when you first click on the video, right? As a normal
Yeah,
viewer, let's say you've never listened to Fable before, you click on this video because it's got a cool thumbnail and it sounds like maybe you like solo leveling in this case or whatever, and you want to hear a song based around it. You bring it up and you watch the video and you enjoy the video. Man, that was really great. That was really great. That was awesome, right? But
yeah.
you don't go back to that video to see the video. You go back to that video to listen to the song.
Oh, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh
You're
yeah,
listening to it. You're watching it on repeat, not because of the video. You're watching it on repeat because of the song. And
most definitely.
so, like, yeah, it can get you in the door, and it can even like enhance the song. It can make like even like you can have like a mid song with like a good edit, and it'll make that mid song feel a little bit better.
That's basically what I was. Yeah,
You
that's
know what I'm
what you were.
saying? Like that
Yeah,
that definitely can be a thing. That is definitely a thing. But
but
it's
a
only
lot.
for that first experience though, Chris. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? After that, it's just like at the end of the day it's about the song. You can't force somebody to like a song. You can manipulate somebody into listening to your song on like a TikTok or something like that, or even like YouTube. You can
right.
manipulate somebody to even check it out on Spotify to hear more, but you can't manipulate them to repeat it over and over and over and over again. It's
Exactly.
just, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's going to be their choice. And the reason that they go back and do it every single time is because they like that song and they want to hear it again, you know?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so I think, like, when it came to Fable's thing or whatever, he was like, oh, like, this is crazy. Like, it's actually, working. Like, they're listening to my music outside of YouTube even more, and it's really cool and everything. And I was like, and I went on there because, dude, he dropped a song on a Saturday,
Like, bro,
and I was like, dude, if you had dropped a song on a Friday, you would have gotten release radar, and your release radar would go crazy.
like, fam, and another thing too is like there was like another example like just the other day.
Mm-hmm.
My was listening to like Dizzy 8, and I'm like, bro, how do you know who Dizzy 8 is? He was like, oh, bro,
Mm-hmm.
he made Aussie raps and stuff. I'm like, bro, I got a song with him, right?
Yeah.
He like, no way. And then I showed him Two Flames. Like that's the
Uh
song that
huh.
me and also we also have a song called Cut Up. It was about like Kenpachi Zaraki from Bleach.
Uh huh.
But, like he was like, bro, nah, that's crazy.
It's
But, like,
crazy when you see like people like out in the wild and they're just like they casually like if you come across like a nerdy guy or whatever, like they sometimes usually like they are familiar with it. Like there's this guy I know at GameStop or whatever, and um he's just, we had gotten talking about video games and like anime and stuff like that, and I said, oh, like, you listen to like any like music based off of anime? He's like, oh, like Fable and who else did he say, like Rustage or something like that or whatever? And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. He's like, oh yeah, I listen to it all the time. And I told him about my music and everything like that. But there was a really funny experience that I had. So there was this really nerdy guy that worked at this like pop culture store in the mall, and I was with
Right.
my friend, another artist friend by the name of Kid Carrillo, and we were in there, and I was I don't know how it got brought up, but like I think my friend Chris had brought up, he's like, hey, do you listen to music or rap music or whatever? And he's like, oh, I love rap music, but only like fast rap. I only like fast rap. In fact, I like rapping fast. He says I can rap really fast. I said, oh yeah, what do you mean, like Little Guy? I mean, not Little Guy. What am I talking? I mean, that's another artist friend of mine. You mean like Eminem? Because I was like I was kind of low key making fun of him because it's just like like a nerdy white kid. I'm like, he's probably like some Eminem fan or something like that. And he's like, no, even faster. And I said, oh yeah. I said, who are you talking about, right? He says, none like Joshua.
That is why.
I said, none like Joshua? Really? I said, that's really interesting. I said, you know why? He's like, why? I said, because I have a song with him.
That
And
is
he's like, what? He's like,
not
what? You do?
so like, and like not too long ago,
Uh
I
huh.
actually bro in person. Bro's a cool person, by the way. Like
Uh
I
huh.
actually person like yeah, like it was actually crazy because it's like he was actually like first. Like I heard like it was back when he was doing the Legend of Zelda little dubstep raps and stuff like that. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
way like during that dubstep rap era of YouTube.
Right.
I was listening to like that like in sixth, seventh grade. So it's like
Mm.
meeting him recently. Like no, it was crazy because it's like
That is crazy.
like actually meeting different people from the community, and
Right.
I'm or people at NPC. Like it's actually gonna be like I feel like this is gonna be a dope experience.
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. I just thought it was funny because it was just like this guy, like, just randomly, bringing him up. And, that guy ended up being like one of my, like, probably my biggest fan locally. Like, he went to all my shows. He was like, he would bring his girlfriend and his roommate or whatever. They would come and they were like the biggest fan girls. They were like, play this song and play this song, because they'd listen to all my music and everything. And so it was a really cool experience. It's funny because like with Nerdcore, and I think this guy goes over people's heads because a lot of people don't do that grassroots like marketing. But like if you see a dude wearing a Dragon Ball shirt, a Demon Slayer shirt, a My Hero Academia shirt, whatever case may be, if you see somebody wearing some anime merch, walk up to them and tell that, like, have business cards. I'm kidding. I kid you not, dude. It's the easiest thing in the world. Hey, you like that show? I have a song about that show. My name's Zilla. Here, take my business card. Check me out on Spotify.
And low key, it works every time
It
too.
works, bro. It
Like
works.
especially
It's an easy conversation opener too.
like I've been to like a past convention,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like shout out my boy Mike Drop
Oh
because
yeah.
he got me like my first performance and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
That's when I was like meeting with everybody and meeting like different artists and whatnot. Like just actually going around and being on stage and like performing these different things and people coming in and listening and like nodding their heads and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it gives me a chance to like introduce myself and like introduce the craft. And kind of like it's basically kind of like that grassroots, like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, that's what playing live is gonna be. It's a totally different way of gaining a following. Obviously, you're gonna see that like you know immediate kind of reaction online, right? Because you can see direct results. It's much harder to see it like when you make a fan, that's gonna go stream your music, because they went to your show or whatever. It's one person, you know what I'm saying, rather than like, oh, let me get 100 people listening to my song versus
Right.
that one person. You're never gonna really know about that one person. You know what I'm saying? But it builds up over time and it creates like a totally different type of fan base that creates like almost super fans a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? That will show up to all your shows, that feel like they have like a real connection with you and want to see you in person and want to buy your merch and things like that. It's a totally different type of experience, but a totally different type of grind too.
Oh, most definitely with that. Like I can imagine like with people like Fable and Dizzy
Mm-hmm.
and like all these different people that
Like
like
Dizzy just did his first live experience like at NPC.
really
Like if I remember correctly, that was his first live show was NPC when he played
man,
this last year.
it looked like they were going crazy
Oh
too.
yeah, I mean he had the hype men and everything. Like it was great. I mean a lot of the nerdcore artists though they don't have a lot of experience playing live. Obviously you have your Shadows and your Mega Rans and you have your Cam Steadies and stuff like that that do go out there and play live all the time. But a lot of them are like you know, just recently have been playing your first shows or whatever. All my experience was as a deathcore vocalist when I was a vocalist for bands and stuff like that, and then most of my solo stuff was under a different name, and I've had like release shows for like big albums that I've dropped, but like
That's
other than that, like I don't really play that a whole lot. I'm trying to play like more like conventions and everything like that. I just actually just got accepted to one. It's I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's happening in Nashville. It's an anime convention thing or whatever, and I'm gonna be able to play that during Easter weekend, which will be really fun because my friend Booty Gum's over there also. He's another guy who's gonna start getting more into the nerdcore space as well.
hey,
But
most
yeah.
I wish you great luck with that show as well. Cause like listening to your music, I know you're finna tear some shit up. I'm not even gonna.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Yeah, I have a lot of I have experience performing. It's just that I just don't being a father and especially with this project that I'm doing, it just so much things on my plate. It's hard for me to get out and go do things like that, go on tours and stuff like that, which is just totally different type of energy that you kind of have to have. And honestly, after 2020, I kind of became a little bit more introverted
Oh,
where
most
yeah like it really drains me. It's like social stuff like that drains the crap out of me, bro. It's crazy because I used to be like super extroverted.
like I'm not even gonna lie to you. I still got that golden retriever energy. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm like going around like, hey yo, what's up, what's up, what's up? Like you
Yeah,
can like just
same.
come at me, like bro, like I'm extroverted. I mean, well, I'm an ambivert. If you want to be
I
like,
I I think that's where I'm at too. Yeah, it's like I'll go out there and talk to people. I want to, and I will push myself to go out there and talk to people. I will watch everybody's set. I will interact with them because I want everybody to feel like included and like like everybody's having a good time. I want everybody to have a good time. And
most definitely,
so it makes. But at the end of the day, I'm so exhausted. When
man.
I
Like
used to not be. I used to not be.
I swear you get me. I promise to God you get me. It's like
What?
I'm saying, like I promise to God you get me, fam. Like this shit is
Uh
crazy.
huh.
Like
Yeah, it's
verbatim.
back in the day, dude. It would be like after the show, let's go to Whataburger with everybody that was at the show. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Real.
or like Denny's or whatever, or it was 24 hours. Now it's like, no, I'm going home and going to sleep an hour early. You know what I'm saying? Like, peace out.
Like dead ass.
Like I gave you all the energy I have. I'm sorry. Like I'm old now. I can't do this anymore. So yeah, no, I've become like a little bit jaded when it comes to like live stuff because like I said, it's a totally different grind. It's a totally different experience. It's very exhausting. And like the actual like positives that you get out of it as far as like fan retention and things like that, it's just so low compared to like, oh man, I could be producing something right now that'll get me way more fans and attention than playing for 25 minutes in front of 100 people would get me.
Right.
You know what
Most
I'm saying?
definitely.
Like I could be using this time creating a song or filming a music video or whatever, filming TikToks so I can push it out online. And when I realized that, it kind of jaded me with shows, and shows became like this like it felt like a big circle jerk a lot of times, because a lot of people would just like, it's like, oh, let's all gather up and do this show together. And it's like, okay, who's gonna be there? Oh, well, this we got, you get there or whatever, and it's like 25 people or something, and it's just like you're mainly playing to like the other artists and their girlfriends.
Like, for,
Like, what am I even getting out of this? It's like, I guess I'm getting paid like $50 from like the door. You know what
nah,
I'm saying? And it's just like, I don't know. It's just it's a totally different kind. It has to make sense for me these days,
nah, like
and
that.
a lot of times it doesn't. So hopefully now, I'll make better decisions when it comes to this stuff. Like, that's why I'm like playing this convention, because I'm like, well, there will be people at the convention. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
that.
They're there for other reasons. So, and that's way more in my alley, the thing that I want to do more of anyway. So, yeah,
Hey,
that's what I've been thinking.
I would like more experience like in that avenue as well. Like I said, as many conventions in Texas. Like I'm finna just start like just popping out a lot.
Yeah,
Like I stay close, especially to the Dallas area. So that's the reation why, like, when NPC was in Dallas, I'm like, nigga, what? Okay,
because you're
now.
in Texas, right?
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, where were you in Texas?
I stay in a little city called Texarkana. It's
Texarkana. That's right.
like Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana.
Uh huh. Yeah.
So it's like 2 hours away from, like I stay 2 hours away from Dallas, so like I can just like drive down.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. Um. All right, man. Well, this is I want to talk to you about stuff off the podcast episode, but like, as far as this, this podcast episode, this ZillaCast episode goes, is there anything that you want to like plug and let people know about?
Oh, okay.
Um,
There's
and
a
like,
couple.
where the people can find you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I am the light skinned wonder, you know what I'm saying? Baby Keith Sweat, you already know what time it is. Baby ramen noodling. No, I'm playing. But
Wow.
y'all can find me at I am Chris Craig. I just dropped something new recently called Super Saiyan 3. It's on all platforms. Like I got a lot more stuff coming. Like are you a fan of do you know the anime Panty and Stocking?
Yes. Yes, I
Oh,
was actually bringing that up to somebody today, or not today, but this last week, I brought that up as a memory. I was like, oh yeah,
oh,
that was a thing.
oh yeah, by the way, there's a season 2 dropping like really soon.
Really? Oh, I didn't even know. That's
You
insane.
can like up and everything. Like I'm talking about like it's been confirmed. Like shout out Dahlia for giving me the info on that information. You know what I'm saying?
She
But
would
yeah.
know about that.
Yeah.
That's like
No, but
right up her alley.
like Panty is so far, it's not even like funny, bro. Like I've been watching that since like, bro, like
That's great. Well, what
uh,
does that have to do with your album? Are you doing like a concept song on that, or what?
yeah, no, I got some stuff coming up. Like I
That's
got like
awesome.
like a lot of different. So like yeah, just keep your eyes peeled. Like just go at I am Chris Craig on like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Instagram, like anything you can find me on. Like I'm gonna be at that.
He is Chris Craig. He is
I
him.
you know what I'm saying? I am Chris Craig. I am that guy.
Yes, yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining me on this ZillaCast. And you guys at home, who should I talk to next about everything nerdcore, everything music, and what questions do you guys have for me or for an artist that maybe we might have on next time? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to click like down below, subscribe, and yeah, just leave me your thoughts. Until next time, Chris, it's been real,
Hey,
and
most definitely.
I'll see you guys on the next one.